Hello, everybody. My name is Mizonic. I'm an international Afro pop, hip hop artist, producer, and songwriter. But today I want to talk about the hashtag ADOS versus African immigrants, Black people from the Caribbean, Europe, and Asia. So first of all, what's the ADOS? We've been seeing this a lot lately on social media. ADOS stands for American Descendants of Slavery. And basically, ADOS is a little bit different from Black Americans. If you just say Black Americans, it's like, you know, you could be Black from Cuba living in America and you'll be considered a Black American. So the ADOS is different and distinct because you have generations of people that came from slavery, descendants, and they are descendants of slavery. But you have generations of people that came from that slavery lineage that other black people don't have. So basically, a black person from Africa who is an immigrant like myself, I'm from Liberia, but I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm not. I'm not ADOS. Even a first, second, or third generation American, based on the fact that they're from another country, they're still not ADOS. A British citizen living in England who is black is not ADOS. He is British descendant of slavery if his people came from slavery. Same way with Canada. If you have a Canadian citizen who is who people came from slavery, they are not American descendants of slavery. So all these different groups, I mean, if you see a black person in the U.S., you'll just think they're Black American unless they tell you. But the reason why this ADOS thing is hot right now is because Black people are basically tired with just voting and not really seeing anything tangible come back. So a lot of people are asking the new Democratic candidates who want to become president to they're asking for reparations. And reparations is first admitting that you did wrong to those people. That basically, you might basically those people have been discriminated against. They have worked for free when it comes to the hundreds of years of slavery. Their forefathers, grandparents, great grandparents, and even great great grandparents worked for free. And apart from that, they were mistreated. Some people were killed even during slavery, trying to even come here. Some people didn't even make it on the shores of the U.S. They were thrown over into the ocean, into the Atlantic Ocean. So all of those atrocities and things that were done to Black Americans, basically, they're asking for reparations. So what do I think about that? Do I think it's good or bad? Or do I think it's right or wrong? As an immigrant, you know, the first thing you want to feel as an immigrant is why can't we all work together? But to be honest with you, in the particular case, the ADOS, they're right. They're all reparations. Reparations is probably going to cost anywhere between $40 trillion to about $80 trillion. I mean, it's not going to be cheap. And the only reason I say that is if you really look at the number of Black Americans in this country, I would say at least 95% of the Black people, let's just say 99, let's just say 90 for the sake of it. 90% of Black people living in this country are ADOS. So you only got 10% of Black people who are really from other parts of the world. 90% are ADOS. So you're talking about a number around, let's say if we're looking at 49 or 48 million black people, you're roughly looking at 38 to 40 million black people living in this country that this will affect. So it's going to affect at least 38 to 40 million black people. So if you're looking at that number, let's say each family is supposed to get like $2 million over a certain period of time. It could be 5 years or 10 years. You know, if you really calculate all of that, it's still going to come up to somewhere between 60 to 80 trillion dollars. Reparations is so it's not going to be cheap, but America can do it because they've always spent trillions of dollars on wars and things of that nature. So if they really want to do it, they could. The only thing I see is in order to get this done, it can't just be about no internet code. It has to be an organization that's pushing for it. So an organization, the ADO, everybody who's promoting ADOS now, the main people who started it, which is what's his name again, Antonio or Tone Talks and Yvette Carnell, they need to have an organization, contact most of the people who are pushing ADOS to have an organization and really start to focus on those policies for these candidates. Apart from that, a short term thing that ADOS could do would be to start like donations. So they could start collecting donations on behalf of ADOS to affect a positive change in most of these communities. Most of these communities around the country, for instance, Flint, Michigan, right now they do have a lot of help from nonprofit organizations that's helping to provide clean water. But that's just one community. They have several uh, bad communities or poverty-stricken communities around the U.S. So the ADOS could start collecting money on behalf of that situation to help out the people without waiting for the government. You know, because I've seen just somebody doing a live stream, and when it comes to people doing super chat and paying donating money, I've seen some people get big money. I mean, even more than $1,000 on one live stream. So if that could happen, a lot of people will be willing to donate to the ADOS foundation to be able to start change. Also, another thing the ADOS Foundation could do is select representatives in each city or state that will be able to facilitate some of the goals that will be needed to get things right within a black community. So another thing, uh, immigrant groups or first, second, third generation uh, Black Americans who came from other countries could do would be to start their organizations as well. Because even though I'm an immigrant, I can still vote, and this is what's most important. My vote counts, So instead of just jumping on a Democratic will train and just vote because I feel like voting Democrat, we could form an organization that will directly improve our immigration, our people's situation, people who are immigrants, that will provide us with benefits as well as the ADOS or whatever. We don't need reparations. I mean, we already got an opportunity to come here. The biggest things that give us a hard time in this country will be things like student loans, will be things like certain credit card bills and situations like that. Or maybe most of us immigrants will want to always do our own business. So being able to have access to loans to do your own business, these are things that are extremely important for us. So But the ADOS situation, I just feel like, they're all reparations. A lot of people don't understand what reparations is all about. Reparations, again, is just first, the government will have to apologize for everything they've done towards Black people, verbal and written apology. And then they will have to get some policies together that would directly affect the Black community and specifically the ADOS community. All the other communities, if you're Black from Brazil, your people did go there based on slavery as well. However, you're not American descendant of slavery. If you're Black from Asia, the same thing. So another thing we have to talk about when it comes to ADOS is the mixed race situation. So you have the mixed race situation that's heavy, and that's why I put the number out, 2 million, $2 million per family. So, or per individual, really. It should be, yeah, $2 million. I would say $2 million per family. So married, like a married family. If if you're married and both of your parents or your parents are descendants of slave, ADOS, then maybe I'm just throwing out a number. So please don't beat me down the head with that. I'm just throwing out a number. So 2 million, based on the fact that the wife and the husband, both of them are together. They are two, but they are still one. $2 million. Okay, that should be paid over time. So let's say the wife is the white lady, the husband is Black, ADOS. They should only be able to get $1 million. They can't really get $2 million. You know, and that should be pretty self-explanatory. I don't have to go into details about that. Now, if you have a Black lady who is ADOS and the husband is also Black, they should get $2 million, for that instance. If you have a mixed race child or mixed race individual, you know, then it should be broken down by that circumstance. If you have two mixed race married couple, they should literally get $1 million, because instead of getting $2 million, they're just because they're half and half, they should get 500,000 on each side, which comes up to $1 million. But this is not money that the government is even going to pay over one year. They'll probably say 5 to 10 or 20 years. But still, they're all reparations, regardless of the fact Black Americans who are ADOS, American descendants of slavery, they are all reparations. When it comes to Africans, we just have to come together, and those of us who are US citizens, we have to form our group and fight for policies that will affect us bringing people here, because these are some of the most important things. We want to be able to bring our family members here to get an education. Want to be able to bring family members here, whether it's just to stay for a little while, get their education, and go back. We want to be able to bring people here. We want to be able to get access to small business loans to be able to establish our businesses. We want to be able to get our houses, and not only get our houses. A lot of us don't like the mortgage system. Me specifically, I don't like it. I prefer to get a house for 10 or 15 years rather than 30 years. So, things of that nature, those are things that are very important to me. Housing is extremely important because everybody's going to need somewhere to live, and a lot of us want to be homeowners. I mean, I am a homeowner, and I've been a homeowner for more than a decade now, but a lot of people will need a place to live. So these are things that affect me, that affect Africans, especially immigrants or people from the Caribbean, people from Haiti and so forth. So in order to come here and be able to live comfortably, we want to be able to have access to loans for businesses, loans or grants for school, uh, and then a lot of times we don't really push forth the trade skills. A lot of times we don't push for that, but I have a website called Black American Star, blackamericastar.com. And that website is really to put a positive picture of the brightest and smartest and most talented black people in this country. It says Black America Star, not Black American Star. So that should tell you exactly what it's about. It's not only about Black Americans, it's about Black America. If you're black in this country and you're doing exceptional things, that website is geared towards showcasing you. So if you want your listing, if you did something great in your community and you wanted it listed, please feel free to shoot us an email and we'll be glad to read the story and see if we could add it on the website. But that website is important because we talked about skills and trade. A lot of times, a lot of us want to go to 4 year colleges and become and get a master's degree, but at the end of the day, you don't end up with the job you deserve and don't end up making the type of money you deserve. So it's probably better for us to learn a skill, get certifications even before going to college. And when I say before going to college, I don't necessarily mean when you get out of high school you don't continue. I mean, you should do it while you're in high school. So if you're in the 11th or 12th grade, you should be taking certification courses during your summer breaks and in between times. When you get out of school, you should be taking a certification class in the evening. You should start preparing yourself like that because if you graduate from high school and you already have one or two certifications, for instance, if you're trying to go and become a nurse, which is a RN, which is a 4 year nursing degree, but however, you're in high school and you manage to do the LPN, licensed practical nursing certificate, and you actually pass the test after high school, you could go ahead and start working in the nursing field, medical field, and making decent money while you're doing the longer term thing. So a lot of times we never seem to want to talk about that, but that's extremely important for black kids around this country. I urge you, if you watch this video while you're in high school, start thinking strongly about what you could do at that particular point while you're in high school, because while you're in high school, it's probably the best time to decide what you want to do in life. So you could do some certification courses, gain a certification, and do some great things with your life. But the website again is blackamericastar.com. If you go to the vocational training tab, you should be able to see some skills and trade that you could get involved with that will really help you and help your family. So yeah, when it comes to the ADOS, they definitely deserve reparations. There's no doubt about that. I urge them to actually form an organization or a foundation to where they're just not talking individually on the internet, because that's not gonna lead to a policy. Talking individually will never lead to a policy. It's gonna have to be a select few guys. Tone talks. Antonio, I think his name is Antonio Moore or something, but he's gonna have to contact Yvette. They're gonna have to contact maybe Tariq and Fly Nubian Queen Group. They're gonna have to all work together, form a foundation or an organization that will be ready and willing to present policies to these politicians that would directly affect the black community. They're gonna have to do that. You cannot do this by just doing individual stuff. Individual stuff will not get you anywhere, especially with this. But with that being said, I think I covered everything about my stance on the ADOS. I agree with it. You guys deserve reparations. But we Africans and Caribbeans, we need to form our organization to be able to fight for policies that will affect our people. We can't just always sit back and expect things to just happen and fall in our laps. When Europeans come here, they get things given to them. They get a lot of benefits. a lot of Europeans from other places, even Asia. Asians come here to get benefits. So we are the only ones who don't really come together, form organizations to in order to get benefits. So I just I just want to conclude this. My kids are already acting up, but hey, stop that. But yeah, I just want to conclude this video. I agree with the ADOS, and this is what it stands for: American Descendants of Slavery. And peace out, everybody. What are you doing?